Well, good morning. I'm in Meesville, Minnesota, and I'm right across the street from the King's Place, which is an awesome place to get a burger. But I'm not here for gastronomy reasons. I'm here because I'm going to start a route that's going to take me to southeast Minnesota. We're going to go through some nice gravel, some minimum maintenance roads, and just explore Minnesota's driftless area. So stick around. Let's go have some fun on the Southeast Minnesota Adventure Trail. If you're not familiar with the Southeast Minnesota Adventure Trail, well, let me clue you in as we get past this unexpected and way too soon on the trip roadwork. This trail, consisting mostly of gravel and minimum maintenance roads, basically circumvents the most scenic areas of extreme southeast Minnesota. This beautiful area is also known as Minnesota's driftless area. Now, the original loop is about 340 miles, but recently a northern section was added to the loop, making it now close to 500 miles in length. My plan is to run the entire trail and be back in Meesville sometime around supper time tomorrow evening. The recent large amounts of rain we've had this summer did have me wondering if portions of the trail would be closed, slightly flooded, or at least very, very wet, especially here near the start along the Cannon River. Well, alright, 5 miles into this route and I already have a road closure. This road runs down into the Meesville Ravine, which is along the Cannon River. We've had a ton of rain in the last week or so, and the river is very, very high, and I'm sure it's flooded because it runs right along the side of the river. But a road closure already. Well, I won't be running through the Meesville Ravine area on this trip, but if you want to see it, I did do a video on it a couple years ago in the winter. The link is in the description if you'd like to check that out. Okay, let's find that alternate route to Welch, Minnesota. Okay, I just had to backtrack a little bit past those trucks and road grader, and I am back on the trail. So I'm in Welch, but this closure doesn't really surprise me at all. A portion of County Highway 7 by the ski area, Welch Village, is flooded out, so I'm not going to get through here either. So yet another road closure right off the top of this adventure. So to get around these flooded sections in Welch and on the Cannon River, I actually had to get back on the trail and run it the other direction. So I'm actually on the tail end of what I would be doing tomorrow just to get around the flooded Cannon River. I'll be back on the route that I'm planning in just a little bit. Well, all right, I am actually back on the trail again on the direction I intended. This is a section called Whiterock Trail. It's a road that runs just south of Vasa, Minnesota. And I did a video on this last year in the winter time, or late winter. So if you get a chance, go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. So this northern half of the cement route does have a stretch of some straight gravel. Not a big deal, it's still very pretty out. Well, right now I'm stopped in Mazeppa, and I'm about ready to start the original portions of the Southeast Minnesota Adventure Trail. The portions I just ran that were flooded up near Welch were the newer versions that were added, I don't know, a couple months ago or so. So I'm excited to keep going. So Zembro Falls is just over this way, and I'm parked along the Zembro River. And where I'm at, you can tell that water had been here recently. The Zembro River is very high.
Golden days drifting far away. Light is leaving town. Colors fade, but I'm thinking we stay just for a little while. Let's lose track of time. Darling, stay for a little longer while I hold your time will wait. So just rest your head upon my shoulder. Nothing in our way. It's colder, but the day's not over yet.
So I had to stop in the small town of Elgin, Minnesota, and pick up a little USB adapter so I could charge the Osmo here. I left my other one in my wife's car. Most of the time when I do these back road trips, I'm usually running solo, but it was a nice surprise to get a call from my friend Nick, who wanted to join me for a few hours on the trail down by his home area of Rochester. It was going to be a few hours before he was free and ready to meet up, so I continued on to Whitewater State Park. Well, this minimum maintenance road is an offshoot just off the trail. It's short and definitely worth checking out. Alright, that little minimum maintenance road took us to a little parking lot, which is right on the edge of the Whitewater State Park. The flies and the bees are loving it out here. I sent Nick a note saying we could meet up in the small town of Utica that's right on the trail. I got there a few minutes before he did, so I thought I'd check it out. Nick's Gen 2 Frontier is quite the looker. It's a 2014 with a full Titan swap and is super capable on the road and off. We went four-wheeling in western Minnesota a few years ago out in Appleton and had a great time. If you haven't seen that video, you should go check that one out as well. I'll leave the link below down in the description. As Nick and I headed south and east, the flat farmland began to give way to more hills and valleys, which is typical of driftless terrain, land that wasn't flattened by slow glacial movement thousands of years ago. These wonderful dirt roads twist and turn through many areas of the Richard J. Dorr Memorial Hardwood State Forest. You'll pass through some great small towns like Rushford and then follow along the beautiful Root River to the town of Wallen. Now if you're ready to stop for the night, this area has plenty of campgrounds to choose from, but they can fill up pretty quick. Just a few miles south of Wallen, along the trail, is a landmark I was looking forward to seeing. This is the ruins of the old Gribben Mill. It was built by brothers Peter and Patrick Gribben in 1868 during the height of Minnesota's flour mill boom. In 1869, Patrick's son James took over his share of the mill. But by 1880, Peter was looking for opportunities elsewhere, so he bought out James and moved the machinery west where the wheat market was rapidly growing. Today, these ruins still remain on fenced private property. What an amazing remnant of Minnesota's long farming and milling history. It was getting later in the afternoon and my time driving with Nick was winding down, but we still had enough time to try out my new Insta360 Go 3S camera and chase each other down some amazing forest roads. Now the Go 3S is the third generation of this camera, and it's really quite amazing shooting 4K video in a camera that's the size of your thumb. I'll do a video on this little camera at some point. When we rolled into the farming town of Mabel, Nick and I said goodbye and he headed back west toward home. I, on the other hand, thought I'd check out Steam Engine Park. Throughout the Midwest, there are lots of veteran memorial parks, but this one stands out because it's got a tank. Well, that was pretty fun having Nick along for a few hours today. That was just a really good time, and he's got such a nice truck. That's a beautiful truck. So I'm in the town of Mabel, Minnesota, and I just gassed up, and it's time to start looking for a place to camp. I think I'm going to head towards Spring Grove. I think there's a campground there. I'm on the southern part of the CMAT, and there is not a lot of camping down here. So I'm probably a good 15 miles or so from there. So that's where I'm going to head, and hopefully I'll find a place to stay for tonight. You know, it's sun is shining, but it's raining. You know, you had to have that one rain cloud that sits right on top of the trail. It just, you can't win. When I rolled into town, I made a quick stop to meet the town's founding father, well, sort of, and grab some firewood. The campsite was actually an RV site, which was okay, but since I had it to myself, it wasn't a bust. Plus, I was excited to use my moonshade awning and 23-0 swag for the first time. The firewood, however, that was a bust. Way too wet and it just smoked. Yeah, it kind of sucked. You know what also sucked? There was no cell service. So, to entertain myself, I just thought I'd check out the playground. So this could be a very foolish thing to do, but I'm bored. There's no signal. There's nobody here. It's hot. And there's a zip line for kids. I'm a kid. Okay, here it goes. I was more concerned about dropping my phone. Well, that killed about 30 seconds. Well, day one of my trip on the Southeast Minnesota Adventure Trail is winding down. I am in Spring Grove, Minnesota, and it's really about halfway. And I'm just probably, I don't know, 20 miles from the Iowa border, maybe. Something like that. But it was a gorgeous day. We had a little bit of rain, you know, spotty rain, while the sun was still shining. It's humid, hot. I think tomorrow's going to be a nice day, not as humid. And I'm looking forward to running more of the eastern side of the state as we get closer towards the river. It's going to be a very pretty drive tomorrow. And I'm just hoping we don't run into any closures like we had this morning. I'm going to go ahead, enjoy these burgers, take it easy, and I don't know, probably go to bed early because there's no cell service or anything. So I don't know if you go for a walk, I don't know. But it's been a great day, and thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a real good time. I hope you enjoyed day one on the Southeast Minnesota Adventure Trail. Please give it a like and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what day two brings. It's going to get more beautiful, more dusty, and a bit more sketchy. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.